Ciao a tutti, hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is one of your first videos with me. Today I want to talk about one little word that can cause confusion because when you're translating it to English, it actually has two meanings, two options, let's say. So this is a word that's confusing for Italians when they're learning English, because they confuse the two options, and it's confusing for English speakers when they're learning Italian, because you're like, but hey, where's the other option? Okay, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the word perché. I want you to say it with me, and I want you to underline and understand that you need to put that little accent on that last letter, perché, and you're putting it graphically and you're also saying it. Okay? Say it with me. Perché, perché, perché. Okay? If you want to do a fun little exercise and you want to practice listening to this sound, this word, I suggest that you check out the song La partita di pallone by Rita Pavone. I will put the link to the YouTube channel that has that song. You'll find the link below. Because in that song, she repeats it so many times. So I challenge you to listen to that song and to write in the comments how many times Rita Pavone says perché. Okay? This is a fun little thing that you can do. In this video lesson, I want to show you different expressions that have a similar meaning to perché and that you can use in your everyday Italian language. First of all, I said that perché can be confusing because it can translate to why and because. In Italian, we don't have one option that you use to ask a question, like why, and an option that you use to answer the question, so because. But you will always use perché. So those two words, why and because, translate to perché. Let's now look at perché and other expressions that you can use instead of perché, or with a little bit of a difference in meaning from perché. So I suggest that you write them down or you download the PDF that's linked here below. Click on the link or go to my blog page. You have everything written down on my blog page at italianlanguagehub.com. So if you don't like to click on links, which I understand, you can have that all written out on the website for you. Okay? So, as I told you, the first word that we're going to use is simply perché. Just like in English, you're using it to ask further information. So you want to have more information, you want the reason for something, okay? You're translating it to why and because. You're going to use it for a question or to answer a question where you're giving your reason for something. Let's look at an example. Perché non sei venuto a lezione? Perché avevo la febbre. As you can see, I'm using it to translate why and also to translate because. And I'm giving the reason. I'm asking and I'm giving the reason for something. Perché sei ancora in pigiama? Perché non ho sentito la sveglia e non mi sono alzato. Once again, the first person is asking why. The answer is always with perché. So why and because translate to perché. The next expression, it's, let's say, a little evolution of perché, and you're going to add a little word in front of it, and it's the word e. E perché is your expression. So you're using the conjunction that translates to and. Okay? E. Say it with me. E. E perché. This is taking a little step further into investigating and finding out the reason for something. There isn't like a very let's say, bold difference between perché and e perché, but it's a very common expression. It can be used alone or simply after a question. Let's look at these examples. La professoressa vuole parlare coi miei genitori. E perché? The professor wants to talk to my parents. And the other person asks, but why? Okay? So you could say just simply perché, but adding that little e asks for further information. E perché? The translation would be, but why? Okay? Let's look at another little dialogue. Vieni con me dal dottore? E perché? Perché ho paura! Okay, in this case, the person's asking a question, the other person's giving a reply, wanting some more information, and then the first person answers with the real reason. The next option is another little evolution of perché, and in this case, you're adding the word no. Be careful here because you can transform it into a question or into an exclamation. The meaning here is along the lines of why not? And just like in English, you can use why not with a question or with an exclamation. Why not? Why not? Okay? Play around with the tone also in Italian. Perché no? Perché no? Okay, depending on what you want to say. Let's look at some examples to make this clear. Let's look at a dialogue between Paolo and his mom. Mamma, posso andare da Luca a giocare? No. Perché no? Okay, so this is why not? Why am I not allowed? Okay, so with the question, you could have a very like, why not? Why am I not allowed to do that? You're asking the reason for which you can't do something. You could also have it more of a positive situation where it could be like, why not? That's a good idea. In this case, it's more of an exclamation, okay? So for example, if you want to show your support for something, that you agree with something, you could say something like this. Coloriamo il muro d'azzurro? Perché no? Okay, it's more of an exclamation than a question, and you're saying, why not? That's a great idea, all right? Another word that you can add on to perché is perché mai? Sometimes you can also use the expression come mai. Okay, this translates to how come. So the meaning is really always why, so you're still investigating. Here you have more of a sense of like a wonder, so you wonder why something is happening or is not happening, or the reason for something, okay? Come mai non vuoi venire alla festa? Perché sono stanca. You have that sense of wonder more when you're using like the conditional verb tense. So for example, in a sentence like, perché mai dovrebbe dire una cosa così brutta? Okay? So you're wondering why this person should say something so mean. Okay? So you can use these expressions also to substitute perché depending on the context in which you're speaking. The next options are more of expressions, so we're moving away from perché, but I'm giving you some extra expressions that have the same translation to why. These expressions are per quale motivo, per quale ragione. So in the end, you're always asking for why, but in this case, you are specifically going to use it because you have a hard time understanding the reason behind a situation, behind an answer, behind a behavior, okay? Per quale motivo non hai fatto i compiti? Okay? The next expressions are actually quite similar to these two that I just told you about, and they are a che scopo, a che pro. They are very used, very common in the Italian language, and they translate to what is the reason, what is the purpose, like what's the point, okay? So you're obviously always asking for further information and you're asking for a reason for something, but in this case, you're not using perché. Let's look at two examples. They're very long examples, okay? But bear with me. Voglio chiamare la nonna per dirle che stiamo arrivando. A che scopo? La nonna sa che stiamo arrivando. So here you have really the feeling of what's the point? Why do you want to call grandma? She knows that we're coming. I'll give you another example. Gianna vende tutto e parte per la Thailandia. A che pro? So here you're saying Gianna is selling everything and leaving to go to Thailand. And the other person's asking, why? What's the point? What's the purpose? Why is she doing that? Okay, that's the feeling that you get with these two expressions. This last section here, I want to show you how to use perché with an article. This is a fun little thing because you can actually use il perché. So you're using il, a definite article, before the word perché. Literally, you're saying the why. So you're using to say the reason. Look at this example. Oggi sono stanca morta. Non capisco il perché. Ho dormito 10 ore. Okay? You're using it to say, I don't understand the reason. So in English, you would not say, I don't understand the why, but in Italian, you can. You're translating it and you're adding an article. So you're using, instead of using the reason, you can say il perché. Let's look at the last example. Non ha risposto alla mia telefonata. Vorrei sapere il perché. Once again, you're saying, this person didn't reply to my phone call. I want to know why. You could say, vorrei sapere perché. But if you want to be more specific, you can say il perché. Now that you know all of these possible options with using perché, why don't you use one of these and write a comment under this video? I will be more than happy to look at it for you and give you a feedback if you need to or if you want more information about these words. Perché no? Dai, scrivi un commento. See you next week. Un bacio. Ciao.